Without further ado, let's bring out our guest, Cassandra Peterson, Elvira. Welcome to San Antonio. Welcome to Terror Expo.
Thank you. It's been great. Wow.
First year. Right, I know. This is quite a crowd.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Is this your first time in San Antonio?
No, I've been here a few times over the years. I was here a couple years ago for another convention. Maybe I won't mention their name.
Okay, no worries.
Because when I do mention it, I have to go, what? Anyway, blowing me. Anyway, a couple years ago, and then I've been here way back in the day when my show was still running.
Right.
But nice city, I love it.
Very well, welcome. We're glad to have you here. So, are you ready to open up the floor to some questions from fans?
Yeah, is that how you're going to do it? To start?
Feel
free to ask any embarrassing personal questions you like.
All right, just line up on either side of the aisle here if you've got some questions. Start right here, sir. You first. Hello.
Hi.
How did your 2010 Movie Macabre get started? Like, how did they approach you about restarting Elvira, or is that something you guys?
The one I did more recently. Yeah, 2010. Okay, that wasn't that long ago, right? I know nobody approaches me ever. I just decide to do it on my own, and I go out and I do it. And I got a syndication deal, which sadly, little did I know that syndication is in the dumper. So I shot 26 films. I got the 26 movies to do, and I did the wraparounds to 26 different films. And they aired mostly at like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning along with infomercials. So nobody could find it, and the channels were always like X1742B. So nobody could find it. It didn't, unfortunately, I thought the show itself came out really great, and it is on a set of DVDs that you can get now at elvira.com. Just saying. But it really was a good show, I think, and the movies that we got were really great, old classic movies. But yes, short-lived, unfortunately. I've done a couple more since then. One recently for Hulu last year. It's still on Hulu, called 13 Nights of Elvira, with 13 mainly Charles Band movies, which were pretty awesome that we could get a hold of those. So anyway, thank you for asking that. I'm like an infomercial myself.
As a child of syndication in the 80s and 90s, it is sad the state that it's in now. I guess it's just no market, but I grew up watching you, obviously, and other things. Embracing, what would you call them? B-movies? What do you call them?
Sometimes C, D, and movies.
Yeah, I think embracing B-movies, however they were presented, whether it was you, whether it was an outfit like Mystery Science Theater 3000, things like that, was a rite of passage for kids in the 80s and 90s. And,
I helped a lot of guys through puberty.
I gotta say, I will freely admit to that. It's a little intimidating.
You're stuttering, it's
a little intimidating being this close. All right, next question over here. Let's move on before I get too embarrassed.
Elvira, what is your favorite scary movie and why?
Oh, golly, my favorite scary movies. My favorites tend towards the really old, classic, black and white films from the 50s and 60s, probably because I grew up with that. As a kid, I was so into that and loved that stuff. So I'm like very, very old school when it comes to that. I mean, obviously I like a lot of modern day horror, and I like the horror genre in general, of course, but I have this little special place in my heart for movies like House on Haunted Hill. That was the first horror movie I ever saw with Vincent Price, and man, I will never forget it. It changed my life. It was like, what is that? You know, and that's what got me into horror and watching horror, and so those old kind of cheesy classics are what I'm into.
Over here.
I was just wondering, how long does it take you to get into costume?
Oh, way too long. It takes about an hour and a half, actually, an hour and a half, and as time goes on, it takes a few minutes more every day. Oh, yeah, that's the grueling part. People go, why don't you dress like Elvira all the time? It is so time-consuming to get into it, and it's so uncomfortable once you're in it. It's just, you're kind of sitting there suffering all day. And girls, you know what I mean? Just if you're in high heels and something that's really tight, something that really pushes you up, you're not comfortable.
How did the costume come to be? Was it off the shelf or what?
No, a friend of mine, I got this job on a local television station in LA, and I went in looking like myself, got the part, and they said come up with a spooky look, and I had my best friend at the time, a guy named Robert Redding, who has sadly passed away, drew a picture of what he thought. He and I sat down and we went through a lot of different ideas of what we were going to do. One was like Sharon Tate and the Fearless Vampire Killers. It was all pink and gauzy and long red hair. And finally the station said, no, she's got to be all in black. She has black hair and blah, blah, blah. So Robert designed the hair after his favorite singer, Ronnie Spector of the Ronettes. And you know, if you ever Google Ronnie Spector, if you think my hair is high, okay, hers is about double that. Isn't it crazy, man? She called it a knowledge bump, which I liked. So it designed the hair after Ronnie Spector of the Ronettes, and then the makeup he got out of a Kabuki theater makeup book, which I was really happy to see that Ziggy Stardust. There was interviews with David Bowie a lot recently, of course, who I love David Bowie. I'm so sad about his passing. But it was interesting to find out that he did his Ziggy Stardust makeup from Japanese Kabuki theater. So I thought, I am awesome. So anyway, that, and then the dress we just made as, you know, tight and revealing as we thought we could get away with. And we didn't think we would get away with it, but we did.
What makes the knowledge bump in there?
The knowledge bump is it's my brains. The knowledge bump, it's just ratting, and hairspray, Aquanet.
Has technology allowed it to get lighter over the years?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
It has gotten lighter. When I first did it, it was so heavy and sweaty and horrible. And one nice thing is I had it all made out of human hair, which cost me $1 billion. But it's so light and airy. It's great.
All right, over here.
Have you ever felt like you were held back because of Elvira persona?
Felt that I was what?
Held back in any way?
Oh, held back? Hell no. I was never feeling that I was held back as the Elvira persona, because big difference between me and everybody else, strangely. I own the character 100%. I was able to get the rights to the character for everything. Licensing, merchandising, appearances, television, film, and everything. All other characters that you may see here and all other conventions are owned, the rights are owned by studios. So I am able to go out, merchandise and license and do all the other things. When I sell an Elvira item, it's my item that I manufacture or I license. So other celebrities are not able to sell merchandise, other characters from films, because the studio owns them. The studio makes merchandise, but the character gets a very small percentage, if any at all, sometimes none. So I think the only people I know that are in my boat really are me, Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, Pee Wee Herman, and that's about it, folks. So I never wanted to, I don't feel like I'm, you know, oh no, I'm Elvira, I want to do all these other things. I don't give a rat's ass about doing anything else.
Did you ever work with Pee Wee Herman? I can't remember. I know, with Pee Wee? I know.
Yeah, my God. Not only is Pee Wee one of my oldest and best friends, we've known each other way before he was Pee Wee or I was Elvira. We were in the Groundlings improv group in LA. And so I've known Pee Wee since, I think, 1976 or something like that.
I know you worked with John Paragon, who worked with Pee Wee.
Oh yeah, John.
Jambi the Genie and...
Jambi the Genie. I see Pee Wee and Jambi several times a week, every week. And yeah, John was my co-writer for 21 years.
Right.
He and I wrote Mistress of the Dark, and we wrote Haunted Hills, we wrote Movie Macabre, and everything together. So, but Pee Wee I talk to all the time. And we do have a special bond because we are very much in the same boat. We're
Oh, I mean,
characters.
if you grew up in the
we're-
80s, you know Pee-wee and you know Elvira. So.
That's true. And I was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I don't know if any of you guys realize I was the biker mama in Pee-wee's
That's
Big
right,
Adventure.
that's right.
Oh, sure, we let him go.
Do you know that there actually are 2 basements at the Alamo?
Oh, there are?
There are
Oh
for
my
real 2
God.
basements in
That's
the
my
Alamo.
favorite scene in that movie, that Alamo scene with Jan
Jan Hooks, yeah.
Hooks. Oh, and she passed away
Right.
last year, too. She was a good
Buenos
friend.
dias.
That was a brilliant, brilliant scene.
Anyway, next question over here.
Yeah. I was wondering, have you ever co-hosted with Spenguli? And if you haven't, would you ever consider it?
Oh, I would definitely consider it. I haven't because we've never had anything to really co-host, but I've met it many times, and we're like buds. We're the horror hosts, you know. They're my peeps. Lots of creepy guys. No, I gotta say, 99.9% of guys and girls I meet at these conventions are awesome and are so nice and so sweet. I should knock on wood that I rarely have trouble with that. Back in the day, I had several stalking issues. Now I have one. Stalking light. But generally, really great people. And it doesn't matter if they're ex-cons or, you know, what the hell they are. They're always really very nice to me. So I'm lucky that I don't. And, you know, in general, everybody at these cons are creepy. So what is creepy? Including myself.
You talked about homages. You touched on it. I want to talk about a real homage. Is the Simpsons. What was your take on that with Boobarella?
Oh, I love Boobarella. I love
Okay.
my only thing that makes me mad is that they didn't use my voice for it. And you're not going to believe whose voice they did use. It's a trip. In Mistress of the Dark, if you guys have seen that, in the beginning at the, when I'm walking through I'm hosting the movie and I walk through and there's a news lady and she's wearing a little sash around her neck and she says, "Doesn't anything embarrass you?" And I go, throw that in their face, sort of go, "Wearing that thing would," or whatever, wearing that doesn't. Her, Tress McNeil.
Right.
She does the voice of it. She's a very famous voiceover person, and she was in the Groundlings when I was in the Groundlings. So, strangely, she does the voice of Boobarella, and I just wish I was doing it.
Did she bring up Boobarella to you, or did you find out about it after?
I found out about it. Like, she didn't bring it up. You know, but it wasn't her fault. She got
Right.
hired to do it, and she's a regular on The Simpsons, so they just used her. But I love the character anyway. It's awesome.
All right, over here. On the rights. Are you ever going to train a new Elvira to take over for you when you can no longer perform as Elvira?
Well, you might have seen Search for the Next Elvira, which I did as a television show.
Okay,
That
right.
it was a legitimate thing. I was going to
Okay.
try to find another Elvira to kind of carry on the thing. So we went through this whole reality show where there were 2,000 people who tried out for the part, and we winnow it down to the last one. And it was a girl named April Wallen, who was an adorable girl. But we sent April out there to do gigs, and nobody hired her. And it was kind of sad that people still wanted the real thing. So I just was like, okay, I'll keep doing it until I'm 180. So I don't know if there'll be somebody else. I have a daughter who's 21, and I couldn't get her near this costume. She's so uninterested in it. So I don't know. I think it's kind of a one-off thing, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, all right, well,
Can I ask
Okay.
a question?
real quick.
Is it true that you dated Elvis Presley?
I did. I don't know how you want to call it a date, but when I was a showgirl in Vegas, Elvis came to see my show, and then I went back to his hotel for a party with a bunch of people, not just me, and I ended up hanging out with him. I was 17, so it didn't really go where people think it probably went because I was 17. That's underage. And anyway, but it was pretty awesome. Elvis, honest to God, changed my life because he told me I do not want to stay in Vegas and be a showgirl. He says it's a dead-end job. It only lasts for so long. Then you're out, and you're probably going to end up being a 21 dealer. And he convinced me that I was a good singer. He actually played the piano, and we sang together. And he said, "You need to go take singing lessons because you have a nice voice." And I did that, and as soon as my contract expired, I left Vegas, where, as I mentioned, I was the youngest showgirl in Vegas history, I guess. That's what it says in the, what is it, the book of,
Sorry, the
not
Guinness?
Ripley's, but
Guinness.
Guinness Book of World Records. But if it wasn't for Elvis anyway, now I would be the oldest showgirl in Las Vegas. He really saved my life.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Cassandra Peterson, Elvira, go see her back at the table, please. Reminder, everybody needs to clear out for the next panel, but thank you all for coming.
Yeah, you guys check out Elvira.com. I forgot. I mentioned my Twitter handle, @TheRealElvira, and just check out, be a friend with me on Facebook, okay?